Cannonbolt is one of the most important aliens in the franchise, just by the fact that he is the first one introduced after the main 10. He is the 11th alien. He's the alien that opened the door to what it will be to come out of this franchise, which is an immeasurable amount of alien transformations, which I very much like. So just that alone makes Cannonbolt so important that I can't even put into words, because we found out that Ben 10 doesn't have only 10 aliens.
I'm built differently. I'm built differently. I'm built differently. I'm built differently. I'm built differently.
Hello everybody, Crack here, and in today's video we'll talk about the second half of aliens from the original series of Ben 10. We'll talk about the aliens 11 through 20, and we will explain them, because in the original series Ben 10 had actually 20 transformations. Cannonbolt is one of the most important aliens in the franchise, just by the fact that he is the first one introduced after the main 10. He is the 11th alien. He's the alien that opened the door to what it will be to come out of this franchise, which is an immeasurable amount of alien transformations, which I very much like. So just that alone makes Cannonbolt so important that I can't even put into words, because we found out that Ben 10 doesn't have only 10 aliens. Listen, I can't say anything about this bowl of a panda that he is, because that's basically what he is. He's a panda that can roll into a ball, because he has those plates on his back and on his body which protect him from stuff, because they're very durable. He is an Arborian Pleratos. I don't know how alien names work, but he's one of these guys, and he comes from the planet Arborea, which was actually destroyed by the big tick. You remember the episode with the tick dude? He tick. Damn boy, he tick boy, god damn, he tick as hell boy. That guy. He destroyed his planet. He tried to destroy Earth in the original series, but he couldn't, because, ironically enough, of Cannonbolt. He defeated him, but also at the same time, millions, if not billions, of Cannonbolt species couldn't. I guess probably because they're pacifists or whatever. His whole thing, Cannonbolt's whole thing is that he's a ball. Okay, he's a dude that can roll as a ball. That was a bad line. I'm sorry. I go jump into I go jump into into a snake pit, which is ironically the name of another alien, which I'm gonna talk at some point about. But yeah, I'm not that serious about Cannonbolt, because I don't know what to say about him really. He is a ball. His whole power is that he can transform into a ball, and then he can roll. He can come and attack you as a ball. And his species has been tragically exterminated almost, because of the big tick who ate his whole planet, basically, Galactus style. As I already said, he's one of the most iconic aliens, but at the same time, he's not one of the most interesting aliens. So I guess this is everything I have to say about him.
Wildvine is the Omnitrix's DNA sample of a Florana from the planet Flores Verdants. Oh boy. Wildvine is a humanoid plant with one eye in the middle of his face, 5 vine-like legs, 4 long fingers on his hands, flytrap-shaped flaps with teeth covering his head, and pods on his back that he can use as explosives or smoke bombs. In the original series, Wildvine had green skin, 5 legs, the eye on his head was blue, and he had secondary eyes of the same color on each of his shoulders. He wore the original Omnitrix symbol on his chest, and back with a vengeance, Wildvine wore a yellow raincoat. In Ultimate Alien, Wildvine looked mostly the same as before, except his skin was recolored brownish green, his flytrap teeth were recolored black, and his primary eye, secondary eye, and Ultimatrix symbol were all recolored green. In Omniverse, Wildvine regains the green skin color from the original series. He now has only 4 legs, and his fingers are much shorter and thicker. The secondary eyes on his shoulders are replaced with patches of light green similar to those on his hands. He also now has a blue tongue, his teeth are more neat, and his chin and flytrap teeth are bigger. 16-year-old Wildvine wears the Omnitrix symbol on a green and white belt. In Breakpoint, 16-year-old Wildvine wore 2 red and white wristbands on his wrists, a white sweatband on his forehead, a white gym towel around his neck, and a larger tan belt over the Omnitrix belt. 11-year-old Ben as Wildvine in Omniverse looks the same as his 16-year-old self, but wears the original Omnitrix symbol, which has been recolored green on his chest to reflect his original appearance. Ken's Wildvine looked the same as 10-year-old Wildvine in the original series. Negative Wildvine looks just like 16-year-old Wildvine in Omniverse, but is greenish brown with a red eye, and his flytrap teeth are black. Negative Wildvine wears a red and white belt with a red Ultimatrix symbol on it. I don't remember the Ultimatrix very well. Gwen 10 as Wildvine looks similar to her male counterpart, but her body is shaped like a dress. Wow, that's... really? That's sexist.
Remember the last video where I told you that some mythological creatures in the Benten universe are based off of aliens, like ghosts are based on ghost freak species because his species looks like what we perceive as ghosts. So at least in the Benten world, humans have created these spirits or this supernatural creature when in reality they are just aliens. The same goes for Blitzwolfer species, the Lobons. Lobons, who are basically essentially werewolves, and probably that humans created the whole werewolf mythology based off the fact that they saw those aliens. And the same happened with mummies and Frankenstein's monster, as you can see later in this video. So Lobons come from the moon, not planet, moon, just like the galvanic metamorphs, which is outgrid species. They live on a moon, the moon of Transil from the star system Anur, called Luna Lobo, which is interesting because Luna means Luna, which means, at least in Romanian, moon, and Lobo, I think it means wolf or something in Latin or Spanish, though I might be wrong. Basically, this planet is it's not a planet, I'm sorry. This moon is covered in forests, because obviously if you're gonna make a character based off of werewolves or wolves, obviously they're gonna have to stay in forests. It makes sense, okay? It's like having a lion based animal being in, I don't know, African based environment, you know. So yeah, they live in forests and stuff like that. The powers that this species and obviously also Blitzwolfer have are basically all the werewolf's abilities you can imagine. He can scratch, he can bite, and he can jump. You know, he can be very fast as well. All those abilities. He can smell very well. Um, but another one is that he can basically make his mouth into like 4 pieces. I don't know how to. He can open his mouth in like 4 places. I don't know how to say it, and create this echo like ability, this supersonic scream, this super powerful scream that can obviously hurt the enemies. And this is basically what we know about those guys. We know that also they were enslaved by Ghost Freak species, because that's what happened to like most of the species in the Anur, what is Anuri or Anur, whatever, solar system. So this is who Blitzwolfer is, and I thought I'm gonna have something more to say about him, but I don't. So let's get into the next alien. So I forgot to record and make the Upchuck part, so I'm gonna make it right now. And this audio might sound shitty. Shitty. Anyway, Upchuck is a gourmand from the planet Peptos. Well, Peptos 6 and the later Peptos 7. Because I'm gonna tell you why. These guys eat like crazy. This guy's species eats like freaking crazy. That's their power. That's his power. See this green little shit? See, he eats whatever. He eats what he eats like no tomorrow, okay? So you know what they did? They ate the whole planet. They ate the planet that they were on because of some shenanigans with some other things which I'm gonna talk about in another conversation. It's still Upchuck. It's just another race or species of Upchuck. Well, I guess another subspecies of Upchuck's species. I'm gonna talk about that one. I don't know. I don't know when it debuts in like Ultimate Alien or like Alien Force or something. Regardless, this specific Upchuck I'm talking about right now is a pretty gay one. I don't know what to say about Upchuck. He eats, okay? He's part of the species. This species eats a lot of things, okay? They have these big mouths and they have like multiple tongues or something, and then they eat shit and then they put it in their stomach, and then sometimes they can spit it out like some kind of goo or something, okay? That's all about how deep it goes with Upchuck, okay? He's not a very complex type of alien, okay? This is all you have to know about Upchuck. He eats and then sometimes he spits, but sometimes he swallows. Okay, that's all you have to know about Upchuck.
Snare Oh is a Tep Kufan from the planet Anur Kufos. He is in the same boat with Ghost Freak and Blitzwolfer, because as them, his species is also the basis for mythology in the real world, or at least in the world of Ben 10. Basically, the mummies. He is a mummy. He looks like a mummy. And as you might not be that surprised, his home planet is basically a desert, a wasteland, and it's very hot out there. It's basically like Egypt in a way, or at least the deserted part of Egypt. So, as any mummy ever, Snare Oh is basically made of toilet paper. And his power is that he has a lot of toilet paper and he wraps it around people and attacks them with it and so on. In Snare Oh's species, basically the more beautiful, the most epic, the more I don't know, the more expensive sarcophag you got, the more status you got. You know, it's basically like in a real world, or basically like they were in Egypt, back in the day. You know, you're poor, you got a poor sarcophag, you basically are seen as, like, you know, poor, whereas, you know, the elites have the most beautiful ones and stuff, you know. And when it comes to how and where they live, based on pop-up trivia from the show, they build very high structures like houses or buildings or whatever, because it's very hot there, so I guess being higher makes it less hot. I'm not sure how that works, if I'm being honest. And as it says, Nero's powers is basically he's a mummy. He can use toilet paper. Well, it's not actually toilet paper, you know, but basically it's funnier to call it toilet paper. Basically, you can use toilet paper to do different stuff, you know. And yeah, I think this is it all about Snare Oh, unless I find out something new and I'm gonna, you know, put some more info in editing or something, record after this thing. But unless that's gonna happen, I don't think I have anything else to say about Snare Oh.
Frankenstrike is a transillion from the planet Annua Transil in the Annua system. Frankenstrike looks similar to the classic depiction of Frankenstein's monster. He's basically a Frankenstein's monster alien with electrical-based powers.
I think I just shit my pants. The fuck you looking at?
More specifically, he has the power to shoot lightning and control electricity and electromagnetism. Misspelled magnetism here, buddy.
Fuck you, Brian. No, you try spell electromagnetism well when you're an Eastern European motherfucker, okay, Brian? Fuck you, dude. Fuck you for correcting me. Fuck you.
Along with the obvious super strength, speed, durability, and so forth, he can see in the dark as well, apparently. His species, the Transillians, shared the same planet with Vladats, which were their predators, meaning that they would freaking eat them up until the Transillians revolted and managed to bring the Valdats to extinction. Eventually they were enslaved by the Ectonerites, which are from the same species as Ghost Freak.
Yo, it's Matt.
Yo, Matt. It's Matt.
And I'm here to answer the age-old question, is there an alien of Ben's so nice you'd want him twice? Or 3 times? Maybe 4. 5 if we're getting crazy. 6 is pushing.
Enter Ditto, everyone's favorite little duplicating dude, or maybe second or third favorite. You've got a couple options here. In regards to Hathor, the home of the lovable Splixons, not much is known about it aside from a short blurb from pop-up trivia stating, Hathor is much like Earth but has 12 continents and no moon. The Splixons also work as farmers and artists and are known for their peaceful nature. We first get introduced to Ditto in one of my favorite episodes out of the entire franchise, Divided We Stand, where the Omnitrix throws a 10-year-old Ben Tennyson a curveball in the form of a brand new alien. Splixons might not look like much at first, being roughly the size of a small human child and not possessing a lot of physical strength. But what they lack in size, they make up for 10-fold, 20-fold, heck, as many as you want fold. In order to avoid their natural predators, the Penuncians, which are tiger-like creatures with the ability to infinitely duplicate, Splixons evolved to take on the very same ability and get on equal ground. Aside from drawing strength from numbers, Splixons' humble size allows them somewhat heightened agility relative to humans. The most fascinating fact about them is the inner workings of their sensory web, which allows the clones to share physical sensations. This can be a handy way of keeping track of a pack of your own duplicates, as well as being able to tell if one of them is in danger. However, this can also work as a hindrance as well. In the original series, if any of them are hurt or killed, so are the rest.
You're pinching my ankle! Ow! I felt that too!
Although I've always wondered if anyone actually did get close to killing one of Ditto's dupes in the original series, wouldn't that activate the Omni Energy defense system thing that keeps Ben from dying? The one we saw back in Kevin 11? Alright, hold on, maybe that's a topic for another video, I'm getting ahead of myself. At any rate, while this is the case for all Splixons naturally, it seems to be, as of Omniverse at least, the Omnitrix's settings have been adjusted so that if a dupe is killed, they just seem to poof away, and this weakness, thankfully, isn't lethal to Ben. Other more minor weaknesses include, of course, their small stature, as well as the fact that they don't necessarily have to agree with one another, as they don't possess a hive mind. Though I imagine, since most Splixons are peaceful and whatnot, this is more of a problem for Ben, who has terrible trouble keeping focus and agreeing with himself. Also, while it was never depicted on screen, Derek J. Wyatt had confirmed Splixons can indeed be controlled by the Corruptoras of a Vladat, though that lack of a hive mind thing I mentioned earlier prevents a single Corruptora from affecting the entire pack. They'd need to put one on each and every single dupe. This concludes my portion of the vid. Pleasure to be hosted on the channel. If you get time, go ahead and give mine a look-see. Got a few Ben 10 videos in the works, some of them out, some of them still in the pipeline, and some music I'll be releasing soon. Now, back to your regularly scheduled program.
Guy is an insert alien species from the planet Cytra. On Cytra, and Cytra itself, it's made of something like goo or jelly or whatever, gelatin, whatever. So everything there evolved in a way that if you're not gelatin based, the surface even of the planet will like suck you in and like kill you or something. So the species on this planet don't really have even bones. They just have some other things in their bodies that are similar to bones, you know, but most things are made of jelly. When it comes to his species and his abilities overall in general, basically what Guy can do is that he has multiple eyes. He has like an enormous amount of eyes, and with those he can shoot fire or ice or lasers or beams of energy or whatever you want with them. And the funny part about him is that he's basically a bat, right? Like if you look at his, of course not his body looks like a body, he looks like John Cena in terms of his body, but when you look at his face, he's basically a bat. So the joke is that he doesn't have eyes on his face, right? He only has ears, but then the part 2 to this is that he has eyes on all the rest of his body, right? Also, yeah, he has this power where he can combine multiple of his eyes, so his attacks that he uses his eyes for are stronger. So basically he can have like a smaller eye here and a bigger eye here, and neither of those produce enough force to, I don't know, kill someone or beat someone. He would combine those into a bigger eye, and then that might be able to. And I think that's about it. He's a yellow bat with the build like John Cena. He's built like John Cena, and he has eyes all over. He looks kind of like Shin Uchiha from Naruto or from Boruto, or like Danzo. You know, when Danzo in Naruto had eyes all over his arm. Yeah, that's him. He has abilities from his eyes. He's a yellow bat built like John Cena. He comes from a planet that has a lot of jelly, and or it's a planet. The planet itself is like jelly, and that's about it. He's not even used that much. He debuted in like -10 or -11 or something, and then he showed up like in Omniverse a bunch of times, and that's it. So, yeah.
Waybig is a Toku star, which is a giant alien formed within the cosmos.
You know they're just Ultramen, right?
Yes and no. Unlike Ultramen, who are giant light beings, Tokustars are matter formed from the cosmic storms they're made out of. Although they tend to have the same temperament as Ultramen, being known throughout the galaxy as gentle giants. And also, unlike Ultramen, they tend to live alone in different parts of the galaxies far away from everyone else. For some reason, they're able to jump really high despite how large and weighty they are. A single Tokustar like Waybig is powerful enough to destroy a small planet, although larger planet requires a whole squad of them, like Earth.
I want to say that I very much disagree. As a person who knows power scaling, I definitely think that Waybig can destroy a moon or a planet easily, as I said in multiple of my videos. So just know that I disagree with the fact that he can't. I think he can easily destroy planets and moons.
Tokustars are very durable, probably because of their size, as well as being resistant to extreme temperatures. Tokustars can shoot cosmic rays with their arms, usually originally in the similar position that Ultraman did. But then, before Ultraman X existed, Omniverse had Waybig shooting it with crossed arms like an X. So I guess Bandai was looking over at their Ben 10 department when making Ultraman X. They're also extremely quick. They also have the ability to be harmed by Argus quills for some reason. Even though he had to shoot out every one of his quills from his body, it was still enough to take down a Tokustar, which, you know. I don't know if that means that Tokustars are just weaker than they seem, or if Argus quills are just really powerful with their knockout ability. They're also able to be harmed by high-pitched sounds. Just an aside here, the original series design for Waybig is my least favorite, mostly because like instead of going all in on the Ultraman influence, it's got a little bit of the American comics thing of the extra details on it. Whereas like the later series redesign simplified him, which made him look more like what he's based on. And I'm pretty sure someone on Ultimate Alien that designed his ultimate form must have seen like different Ultraman forms since he looks like a specific Cosmos form, with the extra blue and stuff. Which I know a lot of Ben 10 fans that don't watch Choku won't get, but as someone who does, it's very nice to see.
So yeah, that was it, guys. This was Every Ben 10 Alien Explained Part 2, Aliens 11 through 19. I know I thought it would be 20, but there's some things I didn't consider, so it was just 19. So only 9 aliens in this video at the end of the day. I want to thank Yo It's Matt, or Matt, from the channel Yo It's Matt, and Brian from Tidepool Orchestra, and Monica from, I don't know her channel, so from whatever her channel is, for helping me. And you should go check out their channels and stuff. And thank you for watching this video. Next video will probably be about non-canon aliens. This will be the first videos about non-canon aliens. I'm gonna start making some videos about non-canon aliens on the side, especially about the more mainstream non-canon aliens. And then when I'm done with like Omniverse and everything, and maybe even the reboot, I'm gonna go into like more in-depth, more obscure non-canon aliens. Well, more obscure than whatever the standard for a non-canon alien can be, you know. So yeah, thank you for watching the video, guys. See you next time. Please subscribe and like and other stuff, and I am out. Bye.